Welcome back once again to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm reaching back in time to play some Vintage. This is at the request of Henrik, a subscriber who sent me this list. And what Henrik has going on here is mostly a RUG Xerox shell. Like, a lot of these cards should look very familiar. Also, sorry for the size of these on the display. Vintage, all the best cards are restricted, so you're basically looking at an ADH deck here. But that is what it is. This is RUG Xerox. This is a deck that I top 8'd Eternal Weekend with one time, and it's a deck I've been championing for a while. I haven't played Vintage in a while, haven't played this deck in a while as a result. And the core of the shell here is we're RUG, so we have Volcanic Island, Tropical Island. That is to enable Wrenn and Six. Wrenn and Six is basically uncounterable and unkillable in this format. Like, Force of Will can kill it, and some of the bug decks have Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy. But in general, Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, that's the sort of answer that people pack to stuff in this format. And Wrenn and Six is not blue, and it comes into play with 4 loyalty, basically. Like, if you activate it right away without passing priority, it has 4 loyalty. So this is a deck based on the power of Wrenn and Six. You got Wasteland and Strip Mine in here to cheese out games with Wrenn and Six. And a lot of games just end that way. Like, you have turn 1 or 2 Wrenn and then just start wasting them. A lot of games just very slowly end. Because you'll notice there's 18 lands in this deck, which is actually a lot for a Vintage deck. And that's because it's a Wrenn deck and a Mystic Sanctuary deck. But a lot of Vintage decks only play like 12 lands. So ripping them apart with Wrenn and Six is a quick path to victory. So the supporting cast, Oko, Thief of Crowns, banned in every other format, but we can still play him here. Narset, Vintage is about drawing cards. This makes your opponent not do that. Dack Fayden, Vintage is largely about artifacts. Dack steals them while also drawing cards. Can combo with Narset. You can plus target them. They draw 1 card, discard 2. So you can get an opponent hellbent, like a slow Mind Rot here. That's a combo that exists in the deck. And Tarmogoyf to win the game. It doesn't take much to beat down once you have control. All that is the normal RUG Xerox stuff. Within this shell, Henrik has packed up a bunch of ways to take unlimited turns. And by a bunch, I really mean like 2 or 3, but you don't have to take that many turns to win the game. So the classic Vault Key combo, Time Vault, enters the battlefield tapped, doesn't untap during untap step. If you would begin your turn when Time Vault is tapped, you may skip that turn instead if you do untap Time Vault and you tap it to take an extra turn. That sounds like a bad deal until you have Manifold Key. 1 tap, untap another target artifact. So, boom. This is infinite turns. You just pay 1, get an extra turn during every turn, and then you have all the turns. This deck is not particularly dedicated to doing this, which I'm a little concerned about. I will say, just in theory, the Xerox shell, the appeal of it is that every card is good, or it draws a card to get you to their good cards. And Time Vault and Manifold Key individually are both pretty bad, but they are a powerful thing to draw to. It is a way to cheese victories that you couldn't win otherwise, and this deck does draw a lot of cards. So sometimes you're just looking for a way to close the game, and that is a way to do it. The weirdest thing in this deck, though, is Excavation. This is a card that I'm not sure if I had ever even seen before I was sent this list. 1 and a blue enchantment, 1 colorless, sacrifice a land, draw a card. Any player may play this ability. So the combo here is, well, with Wrenn and Six, it turns Wrenn's ability into kind of +1 draw a card. Like, you still have to spend your land drop for the turn and everything, but turning lands out of the graveyard into actual cards is just a reasonable value engine. Like I said, a lot of Vintage decks don't play that many lands, so we're betting that we sacrifice lands better than they do. And ultimately, the crazy super Christmas land combo here is Mystic Sanctuary, rebuying Time Walk, put it on top of your deck, and then you pay 1, sacrifice Mystic Sanctuary to draw Time Walk, then you cast Time Walk and buy back Mystic Sanctuary with Wrenn and Six. So that's a second way to take unlimited turns in the deck. And that's just sort of snuck in there. The cost of doing business here is that we have to put Excavation in the deck, but it is a blue card for Force of Will, and it's kind of interesting, like, just to take this different direction. Also, Daze and Gush can pick up Mystic Sanctuary on their own, and that's a way to refire your Time Walk or your Ancestral Recall, and that's just Xerox stuff. So let's get into this and see how often we get to take extra turns versus how often Manifold Key is just a dead card in the hand. So let's see how this shakes out. We are on the play in round number 1, and I have a turn 1 Tarmogoyf, which is like sometimes insane and sometimes embarrassing, depending entirely on if this is a fair matchup or not. I'm going to keep this on the strength of turn 1 Tarmogoyf with Strip Mine backup. Like, that is just, if they don't combo me out on turn 1, this is a pretty powerful start. The real question here is, do I play around Mindbreak Trap? Like, I can play around Wasteland or I can play around Mindbreak Trap, and I guess Wasteland is more likely. Like, what I would love to do is just blue to Delta, Mox, Tarmogoyf, but Mindbreak Trap is occasionally in main decks in this format, and why would you risk it? All right, Mox Emerald's on the stack. I'm going to fetch a Volcanic Island, play Tarmogoyf. All right, that's in. Now I can stop playing around Mindbreak Trap. I don't care if they trap Mox Sapphire. And now I'm representing Flusterstorm still. Let's see how embarrassingly dead I am. All right, Volcanic Island Ponder is not the worst thing that could happen. If this is like a Xerox Mirror, this could be great. It could still be Paradoxical Outcome, which can dumpster me pretty hard, but I have a lot of great draws in the deck. Against that, they chose to shuffle. Oh, they know what, now they know. They know what I've kept. They know what I did. Alright, well, they didn't deploy any fast mana and pass the turn into my Strip Mine. Oh, and they saw my hand and don't know about this Force of Will. That's just good business. So, in for 2. Let's go. The inexorable moat / juggernaut that is Tarmogoyf in Vintage. Another Volcanic Island and pass the turn. Alright, another Force is not the worst thing I've ever seen, but I'm not excited about it either. It does mean I get to cast Force of Will without losing my Snapcaster Mage, because I really want this Snapcaster for like the second I draw a Preordain or Ancestral Recall. I just want to go to town. And if I do draw another mana, I'm holding up double Force. There's no universe where I Force of Will Mox Jet here. It's just not the fight I want to fight. Merchant Scroll. That one's actually close. I'm going to let him have it, though. I don't want to 2-for-1 myself if I could still draw the land and hold up the double Force. So they got Ancestral. Sometimes it is right to force the Merchant Scroll and not the Ancestral they get with it, because these decks have a lot of ways to rebuy and reuse Ancestral Recall, and just having it in the deck is frequently better than letting them have it in their hand. But in this specific case, because I'm so close to holding up double Force, I am willing to run that risk. Tarmogoyf's been good for 8 points, by the way. We're getting there. And this Ancestral will put an instant in the graveyard. We're clocking. Ancestral Recall, targeting themselves. Here's Hardcast Force, which they should have read by me playing out a 5th mana source. Like, in a format with Brainstorm, probably don't want 5 lands unless you have exactly Force. Okay, so they forced back, which means they don't have Pyroblast or Flusterstorm. They would have just done that. So I'm going to force their Ancestral again. We're getting scrappy now. And they pitched an Intuition, so they're up to something over there. That's not a card that's in a lot of decks. Wonder if they have, like, Brainstorm? Like, what are they doing here that they would have Force of Willed first? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, their spell's resolved. Unless that was a bait spell and they're just gonna, like, Demonic Tutor for Tinker right now. Oh, Brain Freeze. Okay. So they're Breach. That's what's happening. So they are targeting themselves with Brain Freeze. They're setting up a big Breach. So if the card in their hand is Breach, I could... if one of their last 2 cards is Breach, I could lose here. So they did just make Tarmogoyf into a 6/7. Come on, Force of Will. A 3rd one. I'll take it. Alright, I did not want that Tropical Island. But I will attack them to 4 and then die if they have Breach, I guess. So they didn't hit the Lotus. So anything could happen here. Bummer. Alright, well, we are almost certainly dead. They have Lotus Petal, and the Brain Freeze is already there. I'm pretty sure this is deterministic. I haven't looked at a Vintage Breach deck in a long time. So, if you're not familiar with this, Underworld Breach gives every card in your graveyard escape equal to its mana cost and exile 3 cards. And you can escape Lotus Petal a bunch of times, generating 1 mana and 1 storm each time, and then Brain Freeze yourself until you hit like Black Lotus and other things to keep the party going even harder. Then eventually Storm's big enough to Brain Freeze your opponent, and then they can't draw cards and they lose. So they've cast 4 Lotus Petals so far. Storm is 5. Here's the Brain Freeze targeting them. This will put just over half their deck into the graveyard. Oh, they're targeting me. Are they targeting me? Oh, they sort of mixed it up and targeted me with some of them and themselves with the others. Is this enough to kill me? I'm sure they've done the math. If they Brain Freeze again for 7, no, that's 21 cards. And then they can just Lotus Petal 2 more times. Yeah, they're good. They got me. And they hit Black Lotus off one of their Brain Freezes. Let me just check my deck list, make sure I don't have any way to cheese a victory. I don't think I do. If they mill me out, I do in fact just lose. Okay, got it. Targeting me. Alright, I'm dead. You did it. Yeah, so they were a combo deck. Just drawing lands and Force of Wills over time instead of cantrips during those formative turns was what killed me that game. They were sculpting, and I was just attacking for 2. Alright, now I know better. Alright, Graph Digger's Cage, Force of Vigor, Collector Oof, for all cards I like. I'm not sure if I want Ley Lines. Like, obviously they're a graveyard combo deck, but we saw the Dragon Rage Channelers. They're also a actual like blue-red Xerox deck, or Grixis maybe, because we saw a Black Mox, and I guess we didn't see any black cards. So that might just be a regular Mox, but still, don't love it. I think I need to cut Excavation here. Sorry, Excavation. Force of Will's fine. I like Force of Negation. Nimble Obstructionist doesn't do anything here. This is specifically for Doomsday. This card is cuter than it is particularly great. I like it because I really hate losing to Doomsday, and it's a very good deck. So I'm gonna try to leave things intact here. We're already running into Time Vault and Voltaic Key being trouble. Alright, I'm gonna have to shave them. This is the classic donation deck situation of person gives me a deck with a specific plan built into a reasonable shell, and then I board it out. I'm gonna try to leave it in where I can, but against this punishing combo deck, I don't think we get that luxury this time around. Oko isn't great. Wrenn, Lightning Bolt. Oh, Lightning Bolt does kill Dragon Rage Channeler, which is something that I already mentioned is a concern of mine. Alright, Daze is probably bad. And I think Force of Negation can go out. I don't want to 2-for-1 myself that often in this matchup, and I just brought in all these powerful sideboard cards. So this is what I'm going to do. Alright, that's a lot of Force of Vigors. And no green for Oko. I think I have to mulligan this. I want more cantrips than that. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking. I'll keep this, put Volcanic Island on the bottom, put Leyline of the Void into play. Leyline's in. So I can just fire off Ancestral right now. I guess I should wait for their upkeep. That plays around Force of Negation at least. So they have to have Force of Will blue card or just Mental Misstep here. And I think just going for it is better than trying to sculpt and protect it with Preordain. But of course they have Mental Misstep, because this is Vintage, and even though it's restricted, it's still in every opening hand. Alright, land, Sapphire, Preordain. They topped with Preordain and then cracked a fetch land, so they only got one of those 2 cards they just topped. Cool. Alright, the classic Ancestral Recall start, but they have Mental Misstep Ancestral Recall. Welcome to Vintage. But my Ancestral's in my graveyard, and like I mentioned last game, that is actually a place that I can use it pretty well. This Flooded Strand is eventually representing... No, Tarmogoyf is small because of Leyline. Alright. I want to hold on to this Flooded Strand as long as I can because it's representing Mystic Sanctuary for Ancestral Recall, and that is one of the key ingredients in the deck. I'll counter this blue spell. Do my best here. They're on this side pivot. That will probably run me over if it works. Ouch. Yeah, that's what happens when Ancestral Recall resolves for them and doesn't for you. Oh, they have Lotus Petal too? Alright. Do they have more spells? How big is this thing getting? Nice. Alright, yep, the Ponder. So I have one Pyroblast in the deck left. I still have my Lightning Bolt, but I don't have a lot of faith in Lightning Bolt to actually kill this thing. Alright, I'm taking 3. They chose to shuffle their Ponder. Force of Vigor, not what I'm looking for. I think I have to waste them just to slow them down. Take them off a color. Like, that's all relevant enough. I'm several turns away from this Flooded Strand representing an Ancestral Recall. At this point, it would have to just get Pyroblast. I don't even get to Ancestral anymore. The blue mirrors in Legacy and Vintage do frequently come down to who has cast the most cantrips, and they had Preordain, Ancestral, Ponder, and Brainstorm to my Preordain. Ouch. Alright, so I'm taking 10 here at the minimum. I guess I have to play to my out of Pyroblast, but I'm drawing thin. Here's the second round. Another 5 coming in. And Gitaxian Probe. I'm gonna pay mana to do this. Want to know what I'm up against without losing 2 life, because that leaves me literally dead. If they have something like Pyroblast, they probably fire it off just to get the extra point of damage on the board. And now I can't crack Flooded Strand because this is a 6/6. Ouch. Okay. Not even going to play that land. Now I just have to naturally draw my Pyroblast next turn, and they need to not cast any spells right now. They're tapping mana. I'm dead. Alright. Absolutely crushed because they had Mental Misstep and Ancestral to my Ancestral but no Mental Misstep. And sometimes that's just Vintage. Like, they resolved multiple pieces of power to my 0, and they got to snowball that advantage. This matchup is probably tough. Like, they are a very similar deck with fewer colors to worry about. They're just blue-red, and they have a proactive attacking creature plan, and they have a combo. Like, it's possible they took Underworld Breach just out of the deck, or like they went down to 1 for the sideboard, and this Leyline barely did anything. So like those are all, and I have this Force of Vigor in my hand that also might not have any targets right now. So that is the difficulty of playing against Underworld Breach. On to the next round. I'm on the play in the second round, and I have a turn 1 Wrenn and Six with Daze or Force backup, which kind of loses a lot of the Lotus value. Like, the power of Wrenn and Six is not being a blue card, but right now, not being able to like preordain and then cast Wrenn is kind of a bummer. But I'm making my move on Wrenn. Like, don't think anything else, not for 1 second. So are there more red cards or green cards in my deck, and does it matter because I have Wrenn? Probably want to get green to at least represent Pyroblast. So I go red, 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 and Wrenn and Six, and pick up this Misty Rainforest and pass the turn and hope that's good. I have 2 counter spells. Let's see if this engine can hold up. Like we saw in last round, normally just sticking 1 really good permanent is enough to win a game of Vintage, and it depends entirely on how that permanent lines up. Alright, DT. Can't daze it. They played around it perfectly with Mana Crypt. I'll daze their Tinker next turn. Mox Opal. Alright. Sapphire. Alright. Are they going to Tinker right now? I'll daze it now. I don't have to wait. Saheeli. That's cool. Get out of here. Have 5 mana on turn 1, still get dazed. Bad times. Alright, so I'm gonna get a red land, cast Preordain, and then pick up my other land. Another force. Having more forces doesn't really matter yet. I guess I could force Pitching Force and keep my Ponder. That's actually pretty good. Alright, I'll keep those. Deal. So now I have a plan to stay alive for another turn, followed by a win condition in Oko. I guess I already have a win condition in Mana Crypt. Just need to be alive long enough. They need to take 3 7 times, and it's on average every other turn, so I just got to make this game last 14 turns and I can never lose. Right, do they have the Flusterstorm to back this up? They do not. Okay. We have Underground Sea, 2 mystery cards left. And I'm going to cast my Ponder. See what happens. Ooh, Gush and Dig. These are all good cards. Narset's insane next turn, but there's no promise I'm going to get a next turn. This is tricky. I will keep them. Alright, I am not going to shuffle because I actually want that dig through time quite a bit. So I'm just going to plus Wrenn on nothing and pass the turn. Keeping the Ponder hopefully was a show of strength, but if they have PO or Tinker or whatever, they're just going to have to jam. It's not like they can play around a bluff here. Just going to hope they're out of gas. They cast 2 bangers already. Uh-oh. Snapcaster. They get to snap PO. Yikes. Maybe they're out of gas. Them. Snapcaster PO. I was about to say I wish I had another daze, but they played around it. Smart, they've learned. Okay, so they get to draw 4 off of this PO. This matchup is normally really good. All of the cutesy stuff in this particular build, the like excavation and the whatever, all of that is in slots that would normally be occupied by Pyroblast and Flusterstorm, which are the reason this matchup is generally so good. Okay, so they have, at the very least, Snapcaster Time Walk, but they probably have more than that, and they know I don't have anything, because I clearly would have countered the Snapcaster Mage if I had anything at all. Alright, I do just actually have to let Mana Crypt do the work. They cast 2 Night's Whispers. That's a bunch of Mana Crypt that don't need to win. They don't seem worried about it, though. They had Repeal and PO, all of which could pick up the Mana Crypt, and they're just like, nah, I'm gonna win. Here's this sad little Narset waiting over here. If I didn't daze their PO on turn 1, I would have been able to cast Narset this turn, but obviously then they would have resolved PO on turn 1. So, yeah, they just had me beat here. I guess shuffling my Ponder is something I could have done. Get rid of Oko is something I could have done. Did I know that they were PO when I kept Oko? No, I just saw Saheeli, then I pondered, and then, or I preordained into Oko Force. I forget exactly what happened here, but maybe keeping Oko was silly, and I just need to survive before I worry about winning. And I have Wrenn and Six in play. Like, I guess I didn't need to worry about winning at all, because Wrenn will eventually just do that. The emblem is basically unbeatable. Hercules Recall themselves. That's a little ritual action there. Build Storm. Gets Mana Crypt out of play if they even care, but with 13 cards in hand, I bet they don't. I'm sure they can figure out how to win this game somehow from here. Every paradoxical outcome does double duty now because they get to pick up the snap and then snap the outcome. Yogg-Will, okay. Let's do it. I've let them go this far. Let's keep it up. Maybe they'll just keep firing off Night's Whispers and die. Demonic Tutor, that's a good card. What if I was on some sort of like Galaxy Brain level and was just like, you know, Flusterstorm at the end of all this? Alright, they also have Time Vault in their deck. There's Key. Alright, so they get all the turns. I mean, their Mana Crypt's still in play, so they haven't won yet. I can just F6 and see if Crypt is going to burn them out. Yeah, as soon as they remove their Mana Crypt from play, I'll concede, but in the meantime, that is a real win condition. They're pondering, so they're just looking for a Repeal, a Hercules, a Tinker, Something that'll get their crypt out of play, or something that'll win the game fast enough that it doesn't matter. A PO picking it up will also do it. Alright, they PO'd. Let's see if they replay it. I'll give them a chance to mess this up. Yeah, if they don't replay crypt... Oh, now it doesn't even matter. I think that that's a, like, deterministic race. Alright, they have discard here. Discarded Vamp Tutor. Alright, I'll concede. They didn't replay the crypt. I believe it now. Yeah, Urza Saga Paradoxical Outcome is probably the deck I would play if Vintage Champs was tomorrow. Urza Saga really just set that deck off. Because Pyroblast and Flusterstorm are usually the cards that would kill PO. And those decks are really bad at answering 4/4s. And a lot of times you have these artifacts laying around, and Null Rod is usually pretty good against PO, and it's just not good against 4/4s, 5/5, 6/6s, etc. And the tutor, like, you always just end up with your Black Lotus or your Manifold Key or whatever. Like, getting Manifold Key off of Saga being a way to get half your combo just at the ready is insane. So many cool things going on over there. Alright, so enough gushing about my opponent's deck for now. Collector Oof's great. Force of Vigor can slow them down. Hercule's Recall. I don't actually think I want that. That's not really good. Like, you can Hercule's Recall them, and it sort of fizzles a Paradoxical Outcome because it removes all their targets from play. But that's not actually how I want to fight this matchup. I'm actually boarding out the one I already have, too. Oh, sorry, Excavation. I'll try to leave in Vault Key this time, but Excavation, we're not going to have time to make that into a thing. Oh, Hercule's Recall actually hits the constructs. It hits their pivot, which is the reason I put one in the main deck out of respect for exactly Urza Saga, so I should leave one in. I think I want to cut Daze. Like, it's just not... It countered a PO. Like, it probably kept me alive that game, but it also kept me from casting my unbeatable permanent in Narset on the turn where I needed to have it in play. So I'll pass on that. Then Nimble Obstructionist. This could stifle a tap of Time Vault, but I think that Collector Roof is just better at doing that same thing. Ancient Grudge is good too. I should have brought that one in. It's basically the same as Force of Vigor, but also better. How many forces do I want in this deck? I could cut a Force of Will, which may seem silly because this matchup seems like... Okay, I'm actually going to take my own advice. Like, this matchup is about just surviving their first wave, and generally they're not good at generating a second one. So just maximum ways to survive until we get into those grindy turns that my deck is built to play and theirs isn't. This hand does not have any cantrips, but it does have threats, answers, and Narset, which is one of the best cards in the matchup. Sensei's Top, alright. Yeah, that's a cool card to get with Urza Saga also. Alright, Narset. Let's go. Fast mana, fast times. And I get to fetch Tropical Island now because Mox Ruby gives me the red. Let's go Narset. Unfortunately, Force of Negation doesn't fight back very well. Ancient Grudge or Dig. Probably want Grudge more than I want Dig here. Though it's close. They didn't really play out a bunch of fast mana to beat up on. Yeah, I might just want Dig later. I'll threaten them in the meantime. You keep that fast mana in your hand. I will destroy it. Yeah, this also answers Saga's worth of construct tokens. Merchant Scroll. So this can search for a counterspell, probably. Like, their Paradoxical Outcome, Ancestral Recall kind of stuff I don't really care about because of Narset. Interesting. We got Mental Misstep. What do they think I'm casting? That they're worried about Mental Misstep. I guess they're worried about me digging into an Ancestral Recall off of Narset, which is a reasonable thing to be concerned about, I guess. Right. I could grab Wrenn and Six here. I could also grab the Herc, but Ancient Grudge already answers the things that I want to answer there. Yeah, I'm going to grab Wrenn. Red, green. Save my land drop so I could pick up this fetch land. Fetch land's in. And do I want to play out Time Vault? I think so. Maybe I should have played Tarmogoyf there. That's probably better. But anyway, here's Time Vault. Yeah, I think putting Tarmogoyf into play and representing the beats is probably better than playing Time Vault there, but I don't think they have Dack. And I do have Dack, so that will be an interesting sub-game. Do I want to skip a turn? No. There are some board states where skipping a turn is reasonable, even though you're not infinite. I don't think this is one of them. Pick up this Delta. Play the Delta. And do I play Tarmogoyf, or do I hold up Force of Negation and Ancient Grudge? I think I need to hold up my counterspells this turn. They're fetching in the end step, presumably to make a construct. There's the construct. Then we'll go to their turn. Go into their main phase. This triggers on the stack. Let's see if they want to construct up again. Alright, so I'm gonna Ancient Grudge this. The one that can attack at least. See what they want to do about the rest of that. And I think I want to fetch now. Not sure. Like, they could get Pithing Needle. Not sure if I care about that. Maybe I should have saved this fetch land from Mystic Sanctuary, but I have Wrenn. So that's not a huge deal. Alright, I'm gonna let them search. But if they get Graph Digger's Cage, I lose my Grudge. Yeah, maybe I'll just finish off these constructs. Oh, right, it's green on the backside. That is how this card works. Okay, so cleared the constructs. I could have grudged Sensei's Top here, and if they want to flip it on top of their deck, they don't get to draw a card. Like, it's just on top of their deck. I guess that's still fine, though. Yeah, grudging top was not good. Definitely taking out the creatures is where I want to be. Still don't think it's time to skip a turn. Nope. How about a spell that draws cards? Alright, Pyroblast doesn't draw cards, but it isn't bad. Do I want to play this Polluted Delta? I think that I do. And then if I play Tarmogoyf, I can still Red Blast and Force of Negation. Yeah, let's get my monster in there. It's a 3/4 currently. We know they have Misstep for Pyroblast, so I can't count on that, but hopefully the Force of Negation gets to work. Hull Breacher. That's a pretty good card. So I didn't want to Pyroblast it right away because I know about the Misstep, and I guess I can hardcast Force of Negation on my turn all the same, but if they commit to a wheel or something here, but I have Narset, so committing to a wheel is kind of abject insanity, no matter what. Yawgmoth's Will, so they can cast Merchant Scroll out of their graveyard. Oh, and play Urza Saga. I guess that's pretty good, but I've seen better. Oh, that takes the enchantment out of the graveyard for Tarmogoyf. Cruel World. Alright, so they're probably going to get more counter spells here. I'll fight over the Hull Breacher in the end step, because I can snap Pyroblast on future turns. Is something that's worth doing. Alright, so Pyroblast that. A Misstep. Alright, I'm actually going to lose my Tarmogoyf here. It's just kind of a bummer. But keeping Narset, I think, is more important. Counter that. That puts an instant in the graveyard, so I actually get to trade with Hull Breacher now. Okay, so that's actually fine. Like, losing Tarmogoyf, keeping Narset is a good deal. Forced pitching Ancestral Recall. You love to see that. Alright, that happens. Then we trade off. And I have Snap Pyroblast in the graveyard. Spinning their top in the end step. Let's get a look here. Definitely not a good time to skip a turn. Hey! Better lucky than good, right? Alright, so I'm gonna return Polluted Delta to my hand. And then I'm going to take all the turns forever. Alright. Yeah. Finally, vindication for leaving those cards in my deck. Okay, so what else do I want to do here? Dress Down is a card that I'm playing specifically for Urza Saga decks, so I think that's pretty sick, and I want it in. I missed it the first time around, but I think it's... Is it better than Hurkyl's Recall, or is it exactly the same? This Hercules Recall can counter a paradoxical outcome where Dress Down can't, but Herc can't counter a Snapcaster Mage. It can't blank a Hull Breacher for a turn. Like, those are all pretty exciting dynamics. Oh, now I've seen Hull Breacher. I want this Lightning Bolt in the deck. So, gotta react to what my opponent is doing right now. Narset definitely won me that game, by the way. Like, that was the queen coast to coast. Nobody else had a role in that game. It was all Narset. And I did just realize I boarded in Collector Oof when Vault Key are like things in my deck. Makes me wonder if Vault Key should be things in my deck. And I just beat them with it, so they might board in Counter Hate for this when I can just get off it and juke them. Do I need... Maybe I do need Hercules Recall. So if I have Hercs and Dress Down, that's 2 answers to an army of Saga tokens, and then I can try to control the combo aspect with my Xerox shell. And I don't even feel bad cutting the Time Vault now because we already won with it, and now it's an actual strategic juke to get it out of the deck. Okay, I'm in. Let's do this. Alright, I'm on the draw with 2 sideboard cards, no ramp, no kind of a cantrip. I'll keep this. Alright, so I'm unlikely to get dumpstered on turn 1. Well, now I'm definitely not going to get dumpstered on turn 1 because they know what I have. Like, they know not to just jam into Mindbreak Trap unless they have it beat. But they also know that whatever cantrips they want to cast are going to work. Like, if they just have an Ancestral hand, they get to do it. But that is 1 spell for Mindbreak Trap. That's 2. Alright, Mindbreak Trap's on already. And kicking off with a Saga. You got it. This is what I was talking about, where Urza Saga is just such a perfect juke against null red effects. Alright, what did you keep? Tell me your secrets. They have Saheeli, Time Walk, Snapcaster Mage. Time Walk is probably pretty strong, but this Brainstorm is a really good draw for me. I'm not going to jam Brainstorm now and just try to hit, like, Black Lotus and pull ahead. They're pretty committed to this construct plan. Like, Urza Saga does put a real squeeze on your options. Like, if they want to, you know, cast Saheeli or cast Time Walk, like, if they cast Time Walk, their Saga just dies. So they're on, like, make 2 constructs and then hope the rest of these cards are still relevant when they get their mode. And if they want a Time Walk right now, I think I'm okay with that. Alright. Alright. Maybe they know something I don't. Alright, they probably are betting that the tutor is good enough on its own. Interesting. I'm really interested in this play and seeing where it's going. So they could just, like, tutor up Pithing Needle and name Scalding Tarn because they know it's in my hand. They could get Black Lotus and cast Saheeli. That's probably what they're going to do. That actually sounds insane. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to have to brainstorm and hope for the best here. Oh, Narset, that's so much worse. Let's go brainstorm. Find a counterspell. Uh-oh. We're in trouble, fam. And that's their first spell for the turn. So Wasteland's not going to be part of this game. And I don't think that... Well, I'm going to draw the next one, so I can keep the Wrenn and Six around. Okay, Narset's in. Ouch. I was worried about Saheeli and they come at me with Narset. Come on now. So they can't attack yet. I get to shove Collector Oof here, which they are sort of hurting on mana. See if they have a Force of Will for this. They did not. Okay. Do they only have 1 blue mana to work with right now? Narset can't find artifact mana because Oof has it turned off. Night's Whisper, uncastable. Soul Ring, not on. These all grow the construct, though. So Wrenn and Six can ping Narset, take her out of the game. Ooh, or I could just play my own. But no, that's a next turn thing. So if I could also just play my Jace and let them think they can ignore it because of Narset, and then ping, flip Jace next turn. That sounds pretty good. Like, if I can clear the way for this Gush to do anything, that's all good news. Continue growing the monster. Snapcaster, Saheeli, Scroll, and Night's Whisper are all cards that I know are in their hand right now. Cool. I think Pyroblast can do better. So I'm going to go with Wrenn. And Pew Pew, take out Narset. And then I get to Gush, picking up these 2 lands. Then I can replay my Volcanic Island. Now I'm holding a Pyroblast. I'm feeling good about this game at this point. Oko and Dress Down. Nice. I'm going to get to Dress Down. Alright, I don't think I need Oko. I will win this game one way or the other at this point. So, I'm going to pass the turn. I do have to watch out for Dress Down turning off Collector Oof. If they can suddenly, like, PO. That would be kind of a shame. Oh, wow. Line it up. Line it up. Is this Merchant Scroll? It's Snapcaster Mage. They're just putting a body into play. Deal. Oh yeah, I guess they do get to cast Taxian Probe. Also a deal. Will you concede to my hand now? That's not really necessary, but I am doing pretty well here. But this is vintage. I need to stop talking shit. Basically, if they can remove Collector Oof. Okay, they are just conceding to my hand. One look at Dress Down, and they know what's going on. Get out of here. On to the next round. I'm on the play in round number 3 with another turn 1 Wrenn and Six. And I'm keeping. Again, could just get dumpstered, but also could win the game on the spot. It's hard to know. So I'm going to fetch a red land. Almost said green. Yeah, fetch a red land. Play this green source. Red-green. Pick up Polluted Delta. And then play my red source. Again, this is preemptively playing around Mindbreak Trap, but I guess like I don't need to represent Pyroblast because I would have just used that to play around Mindbreak Trap, but I drew it anyway. Easy game. Okay. Time to fetch. Tropical Island. Card advantage. Tick, 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 tick. Bang. Time Vault's in play. Now I just draw the key. Easy. And we are in a blue matchup, so drawing that Pyroblast off the top was nice. And accidentally not representing it on turn 1. Hopefully they're paying enough attention to think I don't have it. Do I misstep this? I don't think so. I think I want to save that for real fights. Bottom to that Preordain. No, don't do that. Oko, Thief of Crowns. That's a good card. So I'll crack my fetch land first. Come up with another red source. I just want them to know loud and clear that I'm holding Pyroblast. There should be no doubt in your smelly little brain what I've got over here. Right, here's Oko. Force of Negation. Do I fight over this? Am I winning anyway? Alright, they can take Oko. I'll just take my Hymn to Turok and let Wrenn and Six keep ticking up. I'm 2 turns away from an ultimate at this point. Like, I would hate to win a fight over Oko just to die to some combo. Like, they just untap and cast Tinker. Like, nice. Still don't want to do that. Alright, Force of Negation is good. I think I want to leave this fetch land in play at this point. If I do get into some sort of counter war or some sort of situation where I want to be able to rebuy Pyroblast or Force of Negation, leaving up the Mystic Sanctuary makes some sense to my brain. Alright, the scroll. I'm just going to let all their shit resolve. I'm in this deep. Go ahead, resolve your spells. Alright, so they're passing the turn. Nope, still don't want to do that. Ancestral now. Alright. Misstep. I would have paid mana on their turn. I'm going to pay life on my turn. Force of Will, huh? Force of Negation, the Ancestral. I want that in exile, so I don't have to think about it ever again. And I haven't drawn for my turn yet. So I can Mystic Sanctuary, Force of Negation back into my hand, which I can draw and hardcast. And I can Force of Negation and Pyroblast now with Wrenn ready to go ultimate next turn, at which point just need a cantrip to make sure I keep gas flowing forever. If you have thoughts in the comments, please let me know about beating up the cantrips versus fighting over the payoffs, because the cantrips can sculpt protection for the payoffs, but at the same time, like, if I Pyroblast Preordain and then they're like, okay, Narset, I'm just a punk. Like, I struggle with those decisions sometimes, and I generally land on the side of fighting over the answer unless I smell weakness in some other kind of way, or smell strength, depending on like what I think plays around their hand better. I don't think I care about Time Walk. I mean, they could fetch Mystic Sanctuary and walk again. Oh, they already had Mystic Sanctuary. Yeah, sure, whatever. This is still just treading water. I still have 2 answers. Okay, they're picking up Scroll. They're not even going for the Time Walk. Maybe they have a second Sanctuary, but then they don't get the Scroll. I don't know. Alright, so 2 cards in hand. Go ahead. Merchant Scroll resolves. What could they get that I'd be scared of? Is it like exactly Brain Freeze? But I'm not scared of Brain Freeze because I can force some negation the payoff. Alright, so I'm going to Pyroblast their Dig Through Time, and they don't know I have this. They know I have this, but I think Force of Negation is a wider, safer answer against most things, and I'm going to hit the blue card I can hit so I don't lose to like Demonic Tutor or some BS next turn. I'm going to fetch before I draw. I would really like to draw action, so I think I can afford to ultimate here. Yeah, alright. Emblem up. And now I can Pyroblast out of my graveyard, and Force Negation out of my graveyard, and Mental Misstep out of my graveyard, and every turn I draw a spell in my graveyard, basically. Could have stifled that, but I still think we can do better. I'd rather have a 3-1 than stifle a fetch land at this point, I guess. They're gonna hardcast Bolas' Citadel right now. Treasure Cruise. Alright, so they have 1 card left. Yeah, I'll just cast this. They don't know that I have a land in my hand necessarily, but I know that I do. Yeah, these are the games where you just sit and eventually win. Like, I'll find a win con eventually. Like, you could tell me that Nimble Obstructionist is already a win con, and you're probably right. I'll probably cast it right now. Alright, time to win this game. 3-1 creature. The mightiest BS in Vintage. Another Wrenn. Alright, so I'm gonna attack for 3. And this is where I learned their Doomsday and should have set on this. Protected it with my life. I'm gonna fetch there's 2 more fetchables in the deck, so good to pick this right back up, thin out the deck a little bit, and just now the pressure's on. They have to beat 2 Force of Negations and a Flusterstorm on 1 turn, because then I untap and just get the land back and do it again. Alright, yeah. Wrenn Emblem, coast to coast. That's the sort of patient game plan you can play, where it's just like, here is my permanent. It will win the game eventually if I don't lose before that point. So I'm going to make every decision to not lose to that point. So what do we see out of them? Saw black mana. So, I mean, I guess there is a possibility they're Doomsday. We just saw blue and black mana, right? It was just Underground Seas and Islands. I will bring in Dress Down just in case. I don't want Urkel's Recall. If they are Doomsday and I revealed my Nimble Obstructionist for no reason, I'm going to be kind of bummed about it. But it's alright. We'll figure it out. So Dress Down comes in for Herx. And what else happens here? Do I just bring in Collector Oof to be safe? Just assume that they're going to be doing something with artifacts because it's a vintage deck? If I do that, I should take out my artifacts that have activated abilities. And do I want Mindbreak Trap? Did they show me any reason to think that I want Mindbreak Trap? Or is it a Leyline situation? Or definitely not Leyline, Ancient Grudge. I was looking at Ancient Grudge and said Leyline. Yeah, it's tough because we only saw the blue cantrip, so they could just be some like blue-black Sedgemoor Witch control deck. They could be a Tinker deck. They could be Grixis and just hit it from me. They could be Doomsday. There's a lot that could be happening right now. And Force of Vigor or Ancient Grudge. Which of these do I want? Or Mindbreak Trap. I have 1 slot left, and I could bring in Grudge, Mindbreak Trap, or Force of Vigor. I'll bring in Trap. just for the biggest spread of answers to stuff, I guess. I don't know, we just really don't have a whole lot of information to work with. I imagine people who play a lot of Vintage are like, what are you talking about? There's so much information, but I keep peripherally aware of the format and really dig in when I need to. This hand is slow, but I do love the idea of cheesing with Strip Mine. Preordain. And if they are Doomsday, I really like this dress down being where it is. Alright, take my cheese if it's offered. They kept a card with Preordain though, so I imagine they'll still hit their land drop just fine. The land pass. Like it, like it. Don't like these other lands. They have a second Pluto Delta and pass. Ooh. Wrenn is pretty exciting, but not this turn. I'll wait until I can pick up Strip Mine right away and start blasting. If they're fetching, it's time to do something. Oh, they're just cracking a fetch land and passing the turn. You got it. Alright, do I go for the Wrenn? Yeah, I think it's time. The Tropical Island. Here's Wrenn. Like I've said, there's very few clean answers to this. They'll probably have to force it if they want to do anything, unless they have something like Spell Pierce, which is not super common in Vintage. Oh, Daze, sure. Alright. Could have played around Daze and didn't. I was swinging for the fences on that Strip Mine. Wasn't expecting Daze, but that makes me think even more that they are Doomsday. Am I making that up? Vintage experts, please let me know in the chat if I'm making that up or if that is like a real thing. Like Doomsday having Daze. That sounds right. Alright, Tropical Island, Dack Fayden, let's go. Dack's the kind of thing you jam and just take over with. I am playing around Daze now. They don't have Hull Breacher mana. Ooh, Narset's nice. I don't think I need a 5th land, and I think Dack will find it for me anyway. And this Oko looks a little sus. Like, I guess I could pick up Mindbreak Trap if I want it, but not losing is my primary goal right now, so I'm going to discard land and Oko. Just having the Force of Will and the Mindbreak Trap, so like, they go spell, I force it, they counter. It's a Gush. Blue, Gush. Wow, alright. Yeah, go for it. Gushing up your only 2 permanents is rough, and you're going to have to discard to hand size like a lot of the things you just picked up. That's not a situation they want to be in. I promise you that. That's 1 spell, by the way, for Mindbreak Trap. Eliminate my Dack. Is this something I want to fight over? No, you can eliminate Dack. That's okay. I'm just really interested in not losing. Yeah, I'm gonna get my Mindbreak Trap money where I can. It's right there. Give it to me. I don't think I need to buy back Mindbreak Trap with Mystic Sanctuary right now. Unless I just want an easy blue card to pitch to Force to fight over Narset. Oh, Jesus. Filthy. Absolutely filthy behavior. Here's Narset. I will definitely Force to protect it. So Force pitching Time Walk. I think pitching Dress Down makes more sense than pitching Snapcaster at this point. Oh, another one. Okay. Bang, 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 bang. Alright, here we are. Back in this spot. The Planeswalkers are cleared. The Dress Down's cleared. Is there anything in the graveyard I want to rebuy now? I could pick up the Mindbreak Trap just to make sure I don't lose, but is that even good? I think I'd rather save it for a cantrip or something like Dig Through Time, you know. Alright. Yeah, I'm just going to dig right now. So there's Tarmogoyf cares about Planeswalker in the graveyard, but I can't like buy them back in any kind of way. So I'll leave some of them there. Alright, Pyroblast Preordain looks like a pretty good spread here. That was a pretty underwhelming Dig Through Time. Not gonna lie. I think I want to Preordain before I Pyroblast because I just put 5 lands on the bottom, or 4 lands. Let's keep them there. Do I want Tarmogoyf right now? That is the kind of thing that can win the game, and kind of quickly. So, yes. So I can play Tarmogoyf, and then I have Pyroblast and Snap Pyroblast to get over the finish line. Again, here's that conversation again of like, do you fight over this when they're clearly like kind of weak, or do you let them stumble into... Alright, so do I want... Alright, I think it is time to Mystic Sanctuary up. Guess I can just get Dig Through Time. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna get Dig. And just threaten reloading at any point. Then here's Goyf. It's huge. Pass the turn. Maybe I'm supposed to get Mindbreak Trap there just to be careful. Alright, so Demonic Tutor. That can get the Black Lotus or the Doomsday, whichever half they're missing. Yep, there's that. Maybe should have put Mindbreak Trap on top of my deck. Okay, so I can dig now. And that plays into Daze or whatever they do with this Black Lotus, but yeah, if they have answers, I want to waste them on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, here's Dig Through Time. Are they digging in response? Did I just tap out of Pyroblast and they get to dig me? Yeah, that would have been a reason to main phase it. In my head, I was like, if they fight over this now, then they can't fight over it. Can't fight over my Pyroblast later. But maybe that just didn't make any sense. Yeah. Okay, there's Dig. Yeah, that's about as good a target for Pyroblast as you're going to get. But now hopefully they're making a decision of, do you dig for a way to win the game or dig for an answer to Dig Through Time? Like if this Dig resolves and then they go Force Blue card, it's just card neutral, and I attack with Tarmogoyf again. If they have Flusterstorm, that kind of sucks. If they have Ancestral, that really sucks. Alright, my Dig resolved. Praise the world. I think I want Force of Will. Or do I want Polluted Delta? Nope. I want Force of Will and Wrenn and Six, I think is what I want to do here. Yeah, this taps me out of red. But it does get Wrenn and Six happening. So green, red. I want to do this pre-combat, because if they fight over it, I want Goyf to get bigger. Pick up Strip Mine. I think I want to take them off black. No, I'll take them off blue. I guess the bet here, like that takes them off Flusterstorm for protection from my Force of Will. And they could still like Dark Ritual Doomsday here. Right, Soul Ring. This is where they tinker and they're not Doomsday at all, never have been. Alright, do they have Force Blue card as their last 2 cards in hand? How well did they sculpt? Did I blow it by tapping out of red? Nope, okay. They have conceded the match. That was kind of stressful up to the very end. I'm fairly confident at this point that they're not Doomsday, but I played kind of like they were, and not knowing what they were doing going into sideboard made for some weird decisions, some like split the difference in a number of different directions, but at the end of the day, we just out-controlled them, drew more cards than them, which is what RUG Xerox is really good at doing. So, on to the next one. I'm on the play, again, for round number 4. And this hand actually sucks. Like, I don't have 2 lands, don't have any way to find them. If I knew for sure I was playing against, like, Oops All Spells or some, like, turbo degenerate combo deck, I would probably keep this. But it's kind of bad right now. Though, this is vintage, and having a wall of answers up is pretty decent. Alright, I'm going to keep this, even though I'm kind of suspicious about it. Alright, land go. Let's see what we're up against. If this is any Bazaar deck, we are dead on the spot. If it's a combo deck that tries to shove, we might still play. Alright, time to draw a land. Let's go. Land, 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 land. Easy. Alright, now we're playing. Okay, I no longer regret this keep. Now I'm full of answers and can deploy a threat when I feel like it's the appropriate time. Ooh, is this the mirror? Looks like kind of mirror-y. Well, this one is a problem. Do I pitch Mental Misstep or Dig Through Time? I think Dig Through Time is my plan to win the game. Though I have Pyroblast, which hits most things that Mental Misstep does. Or I could pitch Force of Will to Force of Will and just count on my other 1-for-1 answers. Like, These answers are better against everything that isn't Wrenn and Six. But yeah, this is definitely the mirror. Let's see if my turn-taking bonus turn business is good enough here. Okay, so I pay for 2 of these, mental misstep the other one. Alright, I'll get Tropical Island. Would you like to pay? Yes. Would you like to pay? Yes. And mental misstep this one. There we go. Wren's in the bin. Alright. Let's draw my own Wrenn and win this game. Not quite, but Pyroblast is a good one to have left over to protect this Goyf with. Now I don't need to worry about Wrenn as much, I can just attack it. Ooh, good thing we fought over that planeswalker. Jeez. Strip Mine is messed up. Alright, let's see if Tarmogoyf can go coast to coast against their handful of Pyroblast. Tarmogoyf in for 4. 3, sorry. In for some amount. They're going for something here. Ooh, they're a version with black. So it's not the pure mirror. Ka-chow. That did not shrink Tarmogoyf. That will eventually shrink Tarmogoyf. So I should dig now. Ooh, let's get a look. Show me your secrets. They have 2 lands in their hand. Alright, well, definitely time to dig. Tropical Island, dig through time. So... oh, wait. I should attack first to maximize the size of Tarmogoyf. Yeah, that would be embarrassing if it got a lot smaller before I get to attack. Alright, so mana is not what they're gated on. I can control Deathrite Shaman a little bit with this dig through time. And mana is not their scarce resource. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, Goyf is a small fry. 2, 3. Preordained's good, Snapcaster Mage is good. Nimble Obstructionist probably sucks. I haven't played a land in a while. I could just land Preordain. Oh, Snapcaster Mage is actually pretty bad against Deathrite Shaman, so I think land Preordain makes sense. Okay. And then any order. I'm about to shuffle them anyway. This sets up Narset for next turn. And I think having double red's more important than double green. Dack Fayden. You don't say. I don't need the Mox at this point, and I will take Dack. Okay, they're in top deck mode. They have some bangers though, including, yeah, if they start stringing cantrips together, this could get ugly. They bottomed the Preordain. That's what I want to see all the time. I just main phase exile dig so I can't buy it back or snap it in response or anything. I think Narset is better than Dack to lead on because that cuts off more top decks. If they counter it, Goyf gets bigger. Dig. What? Narset betrayed me. How could you do this? Alright, Goyf, let's go. 2-3 Tarmogoyf getting in there. Right, Deathrite eating Preordain in the main phase. There's the Volcanic Island. Another Deathrite. Alright, glad I ate all those spells earlier. Well, how about a Mox to just do this all this turn? Oh, I have their Mox. I can do it all next turn. Yeah, sometimes you put these cheese balls in your deck, and then you get to cheese. Mox Ruby. Yeah, I think I just want to go for the kill right now. I could also Manifold Key, Time Walk. Then on my Time Walk turn, Time Vault. Yeah, I think Time Walk's probably better. Alright, let's walk. And I get to attack for 2. Maybe I'm supposed to play Key first. In case they counter it, then I get to attack for 3. They have 1 card left over there, though. Alright, Manifold Key, you're in there. Opponent should be scared now. Alright, here it is. Here's my thing. Alright. The reason you put Time Vault in a vintage deck is to just draw A and B at the same time. Okay, so we're playing against 4-color Xerox. Force of Will and Negation are pretty medium bad here, but I don't have a whole lot of sideboard for this matchup at all. I don't have more Pyroblast, don't have more removal. My sideboard is stacked against Bazaar, Shops, and Combo, and basically nothing going on for the fair matchups, except what's already in the main deck. I'm not going to bring in ley lines. I don't think Force of Vigor matters. And Dress Down could get some blowouts, maybe. Like, Dress Down can turn off their Deathrite Shamans for a turn cycle, which could affect how much mana they have to work with or something. At very least, it's a cantrip, so I'll take that. And I guess maybe I do want Force of... I want more forces, because they have the Wrenn and Sixes, which is one of the key axes this battle will be fought on. Hurkyl's Recall is just bad and terrible, and I should probably just have all my forces in instead. Alright, I mean, this is what I got. Let's do it. Yep. Got Force of Will, Ancestral Recall, a bunch of bangers to parade onto the stack when the dust settles. I'm a little worried about this one lander versus the Wasteland Strip Mine deck. Alright, now they know what I'm up to. Alright, I found my Ruby. Guess I can just run that out, huh? Though that is the only secret that I still had. I'll fetch in their upkeep, probably. If they crack their fetch land, though, I'll fetch in response to that. Is it time? Is it time? No, I'm gonna wait. Mock Sapphire. Alright, now Flusterstorm is too juicy, so I'll just wait again. Maybe that was undisciplined, and I should have just fired it off when I had the look, but they're kind of dancing around it over there. Alright, there's a fetch land activation. Demonic Tutor is a card that they have. Alright, I'll Ancestral myself in response to that. And I've failed to play around Flusterstorm, which is something I mentioned doing several times. Okay, it's Red Blast, not Flusterstorm. I'm gonna force the Pyroblast, not the Demonic. Ooh, they had lots of counter magic. Okay. Oh, they had Flusterstorm and went for Pyroblast anyway. They were trying to trick me, and it worked. So now they get their Demonic Tutor. Maybe they just didn't have a different blue card to pitch to force. Interesting. Come on, Strip Mine. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Is it better to have Wrenn in play or Oko? I mean, Oko gets red blasted, but it answers every other stupid thing they could do because Oko's messed up. Alright, make a food. Let's go. First time I've had Oko in play in probably 6 months. Yep, Ancestral, that's a good one to get. Time Walk, that's pretty good too. Let's see if any of it is as good as Oko, though. Uh-oh, red mana. It was as good as Oko. There's the Doctor. Tropical Island. Alright, I think it's time to just pivot. Bang. Bang. Here they are. Let's go. Preordain out of them. If they can control my Tarmogoyf somehow, the Deathrite Shaman's going to take over. Going to take my food. Take my Mox, sure. Oh yeah, that takes me off red mana. That's really good. I was about to say I can just jam Wrenn, pick off Dack, but none of that's actually true. Alright, I will give them the opportunity to lose their Dack. Or to lose their Deathrite Shaman to save Dack. I could just put both attackers on Dack, but I think that Deathrite is probably more valuable here. Somehow. Oh, they have their own Goyf. That's troublesome. And a second Dack. That's also troublesome. Alright, we're losing this one. There is one maneuver I have available to me, which is draw a red source, attack Dack with both Tarmogoyfs, and then hang their Goyf. Oh, that's pretty good too. I guess I can still attack Dack with both Goyfs and give them the choice of losing Dack or losing Deathrite Shaman. Dack, Dack, Dack. This is my window to kill Dack, so I'm taking it. And it's probably going to cost me my Narset to do it. Oh, they floated green in combat. Oh, they have Abrupt Decay? Assassin's Trophy, sure. Okay. Alright, I do have one of these. So there's my basic. And Dack gets to live. Goyf just got bigger. My Mox Ruby is already on the other side of the board, so I can't Narset into it. Do I Narset now where I just lose her immediately? What spell am I looking for? Basically just any cantrip. So yeah, I think I do want to Narset, because that puts them in the position of having to attack her. Preordains, that is what I was looking for. Jace and land. Both of those are pretty good. I'm gonna top here. And I'm gonna slow roll the land because they know I didn't have it before. Right, so they have to attack now if they want to Dack. Oko's really good. So now all of the things that I did before are all embarrassing. So, alright, they didn't make an elk. They made a food. Why did they do that? They really wanted to make an elk there. Okay, so I get to attack Dack Fayden. And then what? I can at least remove Dack from play. These aren't, yeah, not even close. Alright, so I'm going to attack Dack. If they block with Deathrite Shaman, then I'll be able to activate Wrenn and Six. Alright, exiling Tarmogoyf to gain some life on the way out. And then I get to Volcanic Island, Wrenn and Six, get back Scalding Tarn, and cast Jace Vryn's Prodigy. They can steal Jace with Oko, but that leaves Oko dead to a Wrenn ping. I don't know, this game is getting chunky. We're behind on planeswalkers, but it might be closer than it seems. Oh, maybe not anymore. That's a good gush. Okay, now they can just cleanly kill Wrenn and Six and make an elk and start punching me out. Yeah. My chance to win this game is slipping away quickly. Though I could clear their Tarmogoyf this turn. Nope, can't clear their Goyf. Right, they needed Goyf to attack here, but at least I'm treading water against the foods. Oh, that's not helpful. I'm gonna attack Dack Fayden. Just keep trying to beat the one I have a chance of beating. Do I deploy my Wrenn here, or do I just sit on it? I'll play the land. They know about Wrenn, but I don't want it to just die. Dack targeting themselves. Mental Misstep on a Deathrite Shaman would actually be pretty good here. They discarded a Wrenn, so they either don't think that's what this game is about, or they have another one. All right, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, Tarmogoyf, that's pretty good too. I get to do the Wrenn trick this game, though. So I can attack Dack Fayden. Let's see if they fall for it. I'm going to attack Dack Fayden. They should not block. Like, that's the right play. Just let Dack die. Okay. Let's see if we got there. So Wrenn can take out this Goyf. And I can... Oh, can't play Time Vault because they have Dack in play. 3... I'm actually just out of board. I'm like, haha, you sucker! But no, I lose. Alright. I'll pass the turn. I was losing that game anyway, but at least I got to kill one of their Tarmogoyfs. Yep, they figured out that 5 plus 6 is more than 10. Too bad. Yeah, you can tell who's going to win these games usually like 7 or 8 turns before it actually happens, and when they resolved a Planeswalker and I didn't, that was the money. So what is... Have I learned anything new in this matchup? And I don't think that I've learned anything important. Like, there's just not really things to learn. Yeah, I mean, I have all the cards that could be good in already, and I guess I could Hercule's Recall to, like, get back things they steal with Dack, but that's not actually a good play, I don't think. Force of Vigor, does that do anything? No. Yeah, I mean, this is what I got. Yeah, I'm on the play now. I'm hoping for just a quick cheese with Wrenn and Six. That Wrenn and Six is the thing that can really just crack this matchup apart. Oh good, I have the excavation. I am gonna mulligan this. It doesn't interact in any important way. Doesn't come out quickly. I think I can keep this one and send a... Kind of want Jace, but they have a lot of answers to Jace. But if I can curve Jace into Narset, that's pretty cool. Maybe I don't want Time Walk till later. Yeah, these early like explore time walks aren't super important to this matchup. I am gonna get my basic. Just really can't lose to Wasteland. Not interested in that at all. Just probe, second land. But it's like a pretty bad land. I'm actually gonna bottom that land, top the probe, then show me your secrets. Alright, they have Brainstorm. They did have Wasteland. Alright. They have a turn 1 Tarmogoyf if they want it. But not with Pyroblast backup. They have to wait a turn on Pyroblast. And if they cast Goyf, then they don't get Pyroblast at all. Right, just going for Brainstorm. Just totally changing their hand on me. That's a good idea. Not a bad play. Finding the land off probe, also a big deal. Just trying to work my way up. So they're just holding up Pyroblast right now, which is a pretty reasonable thing to do. I will give them a target. There you go. You're going to have it eventually. I think I want to force this Pyroblast. Because what am I doing otherwise? So if I force this, probably pitching Snapcaster, because they have the Wasteland and Snapcaster is miles away from being helpful. And I think that Narset is a better permanent to stand on its own against my opponent's Onslaught. Alright, let's see if they found a green source or a second answer. Jeez. Alright, fine. They did not cast Tarmogoyf, but they also didn't play Wasteland. But there's a good bet that Demonic Tutor was for Ancestral Recall, so come on land. Nice. Alright, lock out that Ancestral Recall they just looked for. Dig, 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 dig. I think I need Ponder. I don't have a green source for the Oko, though the Oko is actually the good card here. I could bet on Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm going to take Oko. Shouldn't have bet on Brainstorm. They have Force of Will in their hand now. Bummer. Force of Negation. Not the worst card I've ever seen. Wrenn and Six. Okay, so there's Wrenn. Now I need a green source, and that hurts. That Narset was really good. I guess that makes sense to get more than Ancestral does. Because it's like Ancestral, but also wrecks half my deck. Oh, what a show off. They actually had green mana. Guess I have to start committing these. I know they have Force of Will. I guess there's a chance they don't have a blue card. Or at least get my Hymn to Truck where I can get it. They pitch Dack. Alright. Wrenn's in play. We're in trouble. That kills my Narset also. Jesus, they did get Ancestral. They just had Narset anyway. Alright, fine. 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 Alright, now we're fucked. Gotta draw a green source right now, and it needs to work. Oh god, do they also have Oko? Oh, even better. Treasure Cruise. Wow. Alright, that went really poorly for me. Alright. The 3-color nature of the deck, fetching this basic land on turn 1 is come home to roost. And they can put Ancestral Recall on top of their deck with Mystic Sanctuary. That's a cool trick. Oh, they can Dack to immediately find their Ancestral. Alright, I've seen enough. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, these mirrors, you fight over these essential permanents. Like, the permanents are essentially lock pieces. Like, it's weird to think of them like that, but like, I mean, Narset's pretty obviously a lock piece, but Wrenn and Six locks out mana development in pair with a Wasteland or Strip Mine. Dack Fayden locks out artifact development, and it slowly fixes your hand, turns your extra lands that Wrenn is putting into your hand into counter spells to lock your opponent out. So it's basically like, it's a fight over who has how many permanents and what are they. And they definitely won the permanent war there. That turn where I bet on Brainstorm and took Oko. But I mean, Ponder doesn't help that situation either. They still have Narset, but it's still, them having Narset was really bad. Alright, final round's coming. I finally lost a die roll. I'm on the draw for the final round. I'm going to keep this hand. Pyroblast is a pretty solid answer in general. This is where they are Mishra's Workshop, and we're just dead. Alright, Mock Sapphire. They have the old border vintage cards. They must be serious. A basic mountain. What the fuck? Okay. There's Dack. At least I can answer that. I can take a peek with Cataxian Probe, see what they're working with, and then I have Pyroblast to clean up. And not that Cataxian Probe answers the thing in their hand, it's not Thoughtseize. Like, if I see that they just have Mental Misstep, it is what it is, and GG. They've activated targeting themselves for the loot mode. This basic mountain has me confused. I wonder if they are like some sort of welder painter deck, or if this is just, if that's just a basic they've chosen to play in their blue control deck. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we're playing against Breach. And they just had a Dack related start. Let's see what we're working with here. And the answer is Preordain Engineered Explosives. Okay, alright. We get to remove Dack. I'll take that as a win all day, every day. And it's a 1-for-1 that they've already gained value off of, but still, I don't want them to continue to gain value off of it. Tarmogoyf is also thick AF right now. There's Expressive Iteration, a card that was barely talked about during Strixhaven preview season, but is defining 2 formats right now, and is apparently also vintage playable. They exiled and then played Volcanic Island from the Exile Zone. That's why Expressive Iteration is so good, because you can play the land that you exile out of it. I'm not sure how much worse this card gets if it's you may cast the exiled card instead of you may play the exiled card, but it's non-zero. I don't know if it's a problem, just saying words right now. Alright, I'm gonna Tarmogoyf into Dack Fayden with Force of Will backup. That's my plan to punch through this game. Whatever they're up to, like, if they have Expressive Iteration in their deck, they're probably better suited to grind than I am. So let's just kill them. Alright, that's not what I'm gonna fight over. Again, we're in that fight over the enablers or the payoffs. And now that Tarmogoyf is in play and Dack is lurking, I think that I just want to protect the king here and pound in. Just attack 4 times or 5 times, and that's the game. They exiled a Preordain. There's Preordain from exile. They top-bottomed the Preordain. There's that Scalding Tarn we knew was in their hand. Fetch for Underground Sea. And Demonic Tutor. I don't think that's the fight I want to fight. Like, I'm giving myself a chance here to, like, draw a Mox. Like, Mox lets me cast Dack, steal something, and waste them. The fact that they jumped 2 mana ahead of me this game, and I've been playing fair, is kind of a beating. Alright, Mental Misstep. That will probably get the Ancestral they just tutored for, unless they tutored for Tinker. I don't know how hard this deck hits, so I'm going to take their Mox. And I have 2 counterspells in hand right now. One of them is conditional, the other is not. But I can, like, fight over a Pyroblast. If they tinker for something and have Flusterstorm backup, I lose. If they tinker with Force backup, I lose. But I needed to get this Dack in and start whittling down their Mox in before I can mess around with Wasteland. Because Wasteland, when they're up 2 mana to my 0, like, that's just bad. Alright, here's the fight. They have 4 cards left in their hand. That makes me pretty nervous. Alright, the Ancestral got countered, so we'll take it. They have a land, 3 cards left. Was that all bait? And here comes Tinker. Breach. Okay, so there is a Brain Freeze in the graveyard already. There's no fast mana, so Brain Freeze is going to mill 18 cards, and if they hit any fast mana, they win. Breach decks are so good. Demonic Tutor. Wait, where'd they get mana for that? Do I not understand what's happening? Did they have mana floating? I don't understand where that just came from. Now we lose because they have Lotus and Brain Freeze, and that's enough. Alright, Brain Freeze targeting themselves. So let's get some looks at their deck at least, but we are dead here. Yeah, packing combos into the existing shell is just so good, the existing Xerox shell, because the Xerox is already just good. And then, like, tucking Breach in there, it's kind of what Henrik tried to do with this deck, but instead of, like, Vault Key just randomly being in a Xerox deck, you have this deck that, like, you can value Breach. Like, even if you're not comboing off, you could just Breach, cast Ancestral Recall twice in the mid-game and still win. Alright, now they're targeting me with Brain Freeze. No more information to be gained. They have Sedgemoor Witch in their deck. So they're like a Grixis Xerox deck. Tinker is also in the deck, and Bolas' Citadel. Yeah, that game came down to they had 2 Moxen to start the game, and I didn't. Okay, so now we're on this, like, I think I want Grafdigger's Cage, or is it just Force of Vigor? Do I even want Cage? I do have 2 Snapcasters of my own and Jace, so I probably don't want Cage. Oof seems pretty good. They can't combo with an Oof in play. I don't think I want Ley Lines, because they have the Sedgemoor Witch plan that's just like pretty good outside of Ley Line. Dress Down could save me some pest token beats, I suppose. I don't think this is where we get to Excavation. This is the final round. I left Excavation in a few times, and it just was not where I needed to be, unfortunately. I think Vault Key's got to go too, and Nimble Obstructionist is probably not great here. Daze might play. It's hard to know for sure, but this is what I'm bringing in. I guess Mindbreak Trap is pretty good. At least, it's something they have to respect on their combo turn. Probably more respectable than Daze. Guess I could Nimble Obstructionist a Storm Trigger on Brain Freeze, but they'd have to be like pretty... No, that's not a real thing. That's not going to be good enough ever. Alright, here is the deck I'm submitting. Oh, I probably didn't want Hercule's Recall, but I've already hit submit. So we went an entire league. We didn't play against a single Bazaar deck or a single Shops deck. This was just 5 blue decks. That's pretty crazy. And my sideboard is not built for that at all. I am built for the non-blue decks. This is not it. This might be it. I'm keeping this. I think I want to ship Collector Oof. Though, maybe it's Oko. I don't know, like, I want the Force, I want a blue card. Maybe it's just Dress Down. Like, I would keep Dress Down as an easy blue card to pitch to Force of Negation, but that's probably not a reason to keep Dress Down in. I'm going to start with Tropical Island. Don't want to represent Red Blast yet. I don't have it. I don't want them thinking about it. Don't want it on their radar at all. I don't want either of these cards. Yeah, I just want interaction and cantrips. Like, I have win conditions. That's not what I'm looking for right now. Volcanic Island, Mox Sapphire, Expressive Iteration. Alright, and they've already made their land drop, so this one's pretty aggressive. Like, if they exile a Mox, they get to play it, but anything else, they're going to lose that extra card. Alright, they found fast mana. That's alright. I like seeing Mana Crypt in play when I have Collector Oof in hand. Alright, let's oof it up. Oof size is large. I hope this is good. I have double Force to back it up. Mana Crypt plus Collector Oof. I'm attacking for 3.5 damage a turn on average. Lightning Bolt. That's not going to resolve. I think I want to Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Because I'm pretty close to hard casting Force of Negation. And the Oko can win the game on its own. Jeez. Alright. Which of these is the fight? Alright. I'm going in. They have a lot of removal post board. Collector Oof, carry me. Let's draw Ancestral Recall right now. Shit. Alright, so I gotta hope that their hand really is just all in on artifacts. They won their flip. That's bad news for me. Yeah, if they just like cast Sedgemoor Witch at this point, the game is over. Bottom, send him away. Alright, there's Force. If I get a blue card to go with that before they dig out of this, that's not bad. I mean, they could jam like Dack or Narset or whatever this turn, and just ignore Collector Oof doing Planeswalker stuff. They can cast Tinker right now. They have enough actual lands to do it. Time Walk, sure. Alright, so they're Time Walking into another Mana Crypt flip. They've lost 1 and 1-2. They're due for a loss here. Alright, they're right on expectation. They wouldn't have done that if they had anything better to do. So they are looking for action here. All right, Gush is some action, that's for sure. All right, Underworld Breach, so they can Lightning Bolt my Oof here, and then they're off to the races. If that's what they decide to do with it. Maybe they'll just Preordain and leave my Oof alone. That would be great. No chance of that. Okay. Now they're free to do what they want. That's why Underworld Breach is such a good card. It's just like Snapcaster Mage when you're not comboing off. Jeez, now they can tinker. Alright, we've lost. We're getting Bolas' Citadel right now. Oh, Brain Freeze. Yeah, that's even better. Why would they get Bolas' Citadel when they could just actually literally win the game? I guess they need to hit Lotus to do it. Oh, they hit Lotus. Guaranteed. Okay, I'm dead. Alright, GG's. So, lost to the Xerox decks that have better combos in them than we do. That's not super surprising. So, the thing that Wrenn and Six does that I've mentioned it several times is that it's a non-creature, non-blue permanent that generates a lot of value. And Underworld Breach does the same thing. It is a non-creature, non-blue permanent that generates a lot of value and sometimes just wins the game. So definitely the Breach package is something that is incredibly powerful in the Xerox shell. And they do all that while you have to respect Dragon Rage Channeler or whatever, and Sedgemoor Witch and Tarmogoyf and just all the shit that you're losing to anyway, and then they can also just combo kill you at any point. I think that that is a way to go. That's kind of what Henrik tried to do here, and we have these infinite turn interaction combos between Manifold Key, Time Vault. We were never even close to doing this. I did board it out a couple times, or like sometimes, but I left it in sometimes too. And even there were barely even board states, even in the games that did drag out, where this would have been good if I drew it. Like, I don't think there was any hypothetical board state where it's like, wow, I hope I draw Excavation right now. Plus, in Vintage, letting your opponents draw cards is really dangerous. So there's some a lot of risk involved in this card. The Time Vault thing did come together a few times just because this deck is good at making the game take a long time and draw a lot of cards, and we just found Vault Key twice, I think, to win games, and that's pretty cool. But I do think that if you want to do this, you can fit a tighter combo in there in the Breach package, and it doesn't matter how many turns you take if they're just dead. So that's where I am with that one. Wasn't impressed with Daze. Definitely more respect for the blue mirrors this list needs. Like I said, I stacked up the sideboard pretty hard for combo, workshops, and bazaar, and we played against 0 shops, 0 bazaar, and the combo we played against was mostly in the form of Xerox mirrors where they had a combo tucked in. So this was a tough league for this particular configuration. Though we did learn that Breach is sick. We learned that Urza Saga is sick. That Urza Saga PO deck. We did beat it, but I am in love with that. That's a really cool deck. That's probably what I'd play if Journal Weekend was tomorrow. But the Breach decks are worth a lot of respect too. So Henrik, you're on the right. You have the right idea of playing this Xerox control deck and tucking a combo into it. I just think that the combo is not the one that you actually want. I think you want Breach in there if that's what you're trying to do. So thank you all for watching. Thank you, Henrik, for the list. I hope this was helpful feedback. And while you're here, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts. Check out the merch store. That's a new thing that I'm doing. There is merch available in the video description. My Patreon is in the video description if you want to support the channel. You can also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button on YouTube. I now have YouTube membership open. It's another way to support the channel. So thank you all for watching. Hope you stick with me, and I'll see you next time.